It's the early 20th century, and Russia is in political turmoil. A travesty is about to happen that will cause the workers to rise and the Tsar to fall, and it will happen right on his own front lawn.
Tell me, how is it that such a lowly class in Russian society was able to permanently alter the future of its nation's history? Don't know? Well, I, renowned historian Charles O. Munism, am here to educate you on the Russian Revolution.
The autocracy. The all-powerful giving little rights to others, specifically the serfs. Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandra were stubborn and confused and treated the serfs horribly. They initiated pogroms, systematically massacring the Jewish population. The serfs had minimal rights, and this would lead to greater conflict down the line, as has been demonstrated time and time again. The Russians wished to capture Korea and fought with Japan in the Russo-Japanese War in 1904. The Russians were brutally defeated in a battle at Mukden, and the war was ended under the Treaty of Portsmouth. Peaceful peasants were protesting the autocracy and demanded business rights. The Tsar was not in his palace and the guards fired upon the protesters, killing hundreds. The Duma was created by Nicholas in response to the peasants' outrage and would serve as the Tsar's advisory body. The revolutions of 1905 arose when citizens were angered by their family dying far away for a lost cause. Tsar Nicholas became progressively isolated from current political events by his wife Alexandra. After Grigori Rasputin managed to stop their son Alexis' hemophilic bleeding, Rasputin became embedded in Russian politics. Alexandra deeply trusted this wandering Siberian monk and was easily swayed by him. Desiring to remove Rasputin's political influence, they naturally decided to kill him. They had to poison him, stab him, shoot him, and throw him in a literally freezing river before he finally died. Lack of food and fuel led to an angered Russian populace that went on constant strikes. Eventually, a provisional government took over and abdicated the Tsar and royal family. The first official act of revolution is when the Duma ignored the Tsar on March 11th. The dual government that followed the abdication of the Tsars was known as the Provisional Government. It was split into the Constitutional Democrats and Liberals. This allowed the Petrograd Soviet to take control of the army. The Soviets emerged as a national body. Alexander Kerensky was the leader of the Provisional Government and part of the Soviet. Socialist participation in the government gave it more legitimacy. It implemented a liberal program but rejected outright social revolution. Soviets were workers and soldiers who had overthrown the Tsar and controlled the army. Leon Trotsky worked with Lenin to create Soviets as well as the communist dictatorship in Russia. He was the leader of the Red Army that overthrew the provisional government during October. Lenin went on later to sign the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, which handed over more than a third of his territory to Austria-Hungary and Germany. War communism. It was the earliest form of communism, and it declared all land to be national and eliminated private enterprise. This forced many peasants to deliver food. The new economic policy was a system that Lenin introduced in 1921 to revive the economy. This brought the economy to a limited capitalist style. In the Russian Civil War, Lenin moved the government to Moscow and Trotsky reorganized armies leading to the war. Two factions, known as Whites and Reds, were the belligerents. Many of Russia's allies supported the Whites to get Russia back in the war, but regardless, the Reds proved superior. The Whites were the side of Russia that included the officers of Old Russia, as well as 18 ununified groups. The Reds were the Bolshevik group who, despite being outnumbered, defeated the Whites with superior military prowess. The Cheka were the secret police in Russia that enforced the principles of war communism. They executed many opponents of the proletariat, including the Tsar himself.